Hello YouTubers, it's Arya here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to update you guys on something that I haven't talked about before on my channel, and that is filing complaints against two doctors that misdiagnosed my CRPS. And the first doctor that I filed a complaint against was in November of last year. So with the first doctor, it was about, I saw him for a month, and the first time that I saw him was in April. So in April, I saw him, and since the knife didn't go through like my skin, cut me through my skin, he said that in 2 days I would be better, and he splinted my hand. And then I came back 2 days after that, and I still wasn't better. So the treatment that I received from him was just very harsh, I would say, because he was never friendly. And I'd ask him, what do you think is going on with me? And he said, I don't understand why you can't move your hand. I don't know what's going on with you. And he was very rude. He would only come and see me for about 3 minutes. I'm not even kidding about that. And then he would leave, and it was just a miserable experience having him as my doctor. He was a workers' comp doctor, but it was just horrible. And I went about a month without having any medications, and in the end, he said, I think this is in your head. I think it's psychosomatic, and he wanted me to get an evaluation to a psychologist. But I knew it wasn't in my head, and I knew that something was wrong with me. So I ended up switching doctors. But in all of that time, I told him my pain levels were about an 8. I never got any medication at all until I went to the ER, my closest ER, and they gave me gabapentin, and that helped. And he never put any restrictions on me not to use my hand, even though I couldn't turn on the car, I couldn't write, I couldn't buckle my pants. I would it was just horrible. He never put any restrictions, and he sent me to a hand surgeon. I don't know why, because I wasn't going to be having any surgery. And he did an x-ray and an MRI. That came back normal. And then when I asked him to send me to a pain specialist, he initially told me, no, we're not doing that. So the treatment that I got from him was just horrible, and I really had to, push him and tell him that, it was just horrible, and his medical assistant wasn't any better. They were just pretty rude and harsh. So I filed a complaint against him for a misdiagnosis, because he told me it's psychosomatic, and he never gave me any medication, and I really believe I received substandard care. And for me to get some closure, it wasn't until November that I filed the complaint through the Department of Licensing for Doctors, and I got a notification back, and they said that they found that the doctor hadn't received any hadn't violated any medical code or anything. So nothing really happened, nothing really came out of that. But I'm kind of disappointed, because I do feel like in my opinion, he did violate a lot. And he never helped me, and he refused to really listen to me and to point me in the right direction. So Yeah, so it came back that they found that he didn't really violate anything or any regulations or anything like that. And I was kind of disappointed, but I kind of figured, well, maybe it's not uncommon for doctors to be able to get away with things and explain and make things up like anyone. I kind of figured that he would say, well, I tried to help her by sending her to a hand surgeon, and maybe like say I couldn't treat her not knowing what was wrong with her or anything like that. It's just horrible. And he could physically see symptoms of my hand, like the purplish color. It hurt when people touched my hand and I couldn't move it very well. And he knew about CRPS because I got a report back, like a medical record back that said that the hand surgeon and him discussed about CRPS, and then at that point, they thought, maybe it's not CRPS. So he kind of knew, refused to help me, and he was rude. So yeah, and then recently I filed a complaint against a pain management specialist that this doctor sent me to after I told him, after I kept pushing, please send me to a pain specialist because my hand really hurts. And that pain specialist, the same thing, he was suspecting CRPS, and he sent me to get a bone scan, which came back normal, and that's not exactly like out of the normal. Like the bone scan can still come back normal and you can still have CRPS. So so with him it was along the same things, like misdiagnosis and substandard care. He did the bone scan, but when I followed up with him, I told him I was having even worse pain, and in his report, because I got another medical record copy, he put that I was exaggerating my symptoms and I had a dramatic presentation and that I should be discharged from medical care. And he never made a follow-up appointment with me, and he didn't really want me back as a patient, and he told me that my pain wasn't normal, but that there was nothing that he could do. So that's another reason that bugs me, because being a pain management specialist, I know he knew about CRPS because his medical assistant had told me that he wanted to rule out CRPS, and this is why he was sending me for the bone scan. But the doctor never told me that. It was his medical assistant who told me. So anyways, there was lack of follow through from him because there are two other tests, the QSART test and the automatic battery testing, and the Budapest criteria. So he didn't do any of that. And I filed that complaint about 3 days ago, and I'll probably hear back within 3 months, I believe it is, 90 days. So we'll see what they say. I won't be surprised if they say he didn't violate anything. I definitely don't want to sue because I'm already in a case, because of my injury. It's a workers' comp injury. So suing someone, I don't know. Maybe in the future. I'm not sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if they say he didn't violate any regulations, but my only peace of mind is that I do get some closure, and that they are investigated, and that they know that I was their patient and I was diagnosed with CRPS 3 months after my injury, and that they pretty much ignored my symptoms and my pain, and they didn't take me seriously. And when the licensing board conducts their investigations for complaints, they do talk to the physicians about the complaint. And I'm not sure anything else that happens, but they have to investigate it. So I'm just glad that those doctors know that I did file a complaint, and they know that I do have CRPS, and hopefully, I doubt it, but hopefully they won't do the same thing they did with me to any other patient, because it's not right. And I could see how, if I hadn't kept pushing, I could see how I would have taken even longer to be diagnosed, maybe years, and maybe just have lived with this for the rest of my life. But this could happen to anyone. So I just hope they don't treat other patients the way they treated me, and that they that they pause, and then that they see it as like a patient-physician relationship versus a workers' comp case and me trying to milk the system for what it is, or any of that. And after I switched doctors, my first appointment, the doctor that did tell me, I think you have CRPS, he was like my main workers' comp doctor at that point after switching from these doctors. And right away he told me that first instance that, he thought it was this, and he sent me to the appropriate specialist to get the test done. So I will always be thankful for him for doing that. Yeah, and if it wasn't for him, then I'd still be, stuck having all of this pain and it not being explained. So I encourage you guys, if you ever come across anything like this, it is your right to file a complaint and to keep pushing back, and fight for yourself, fight for second opinions, because it can make all the difference. And guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.